Hey guys, we are back with some more Salt Lake City Lakers franchise mode, and in this one, we have the draft coming up in year number 3. And now we will see all the player retirements. I'm not expecting too many retirements from our team, as Abdelkader does retire. And now we'll make our way into the draft interviews. The retired players that are now coaches are Dustin Byfuglien for the Edmonton Oilers and Brandon Dubinsky for Nashville. And Anton Strawman and Nick Holden are now scouts for their respective teams as well. Let's see, did we have any retirements? We are looking for Wyoming and Salt Lake City. Yes, we did have a retirement from Roman Yurchina, and I don't believe, Wyoming did not have any retirements on the coach side. And draft interviews. So we pretty much know everything already about Wright, Typalis, and Savoie. So we're not going to be interviewing them, but we will interview some other guys who we may have the opportunity to pick who we don't know as much about. Here we are going to interview the goaltender, Kimo Koko. He's a hybrid goaltender. He has a professional personality type, and he is 4 years away from the NHL. Here we will interview Mikhail Prokhorkin. He is a power forward. His personality type is passionate, and he is 5+ years away from the NHL. And now we will be interviewing Tomas Borgfors. He is a two-way forward. He has a professional personality, and he is 5+ years away from the NHL. There we go. There are the draft interviews, and now into the draft we go. So we do have the 4th overall pick. However, it does appear that Florida wants to trade their 6th overall pick, and if I'm not mistaken, there are 6 medium elite players. Well, in this case, 1 franchise player and then 5 other medium elite players. So that leaves us with, we could take Wright, presuming he's available at 4, which he should be. And then the option of taking either Typalis or Savoie, depending on who's available at number 6. So I think, actually, trading for that pick, at least attempting to trade for that pick, wouldn't be a bad idea. None of these teams want to trade their pick, so we're definitely not getting Raimo Louis, but we could get one of either Typalis or Savoie plus Shane Wright, because I think Shane Wright is my number 1 choice for the 4th overall pick, but if we can manage to get the 6th overall pick as well, that would be pretty good. So I think I'd be willing to give up a couple of draft picks here. I'd be, I think, giving up the 23rd. I'd also give up our 53rd. And then since we're getting a forward no matter what with the 6th overall pick, I'd be willing to give up one of these guys. Let's give up Downey, I guess. He's 70 overall at 20 years of age. He didn't have the greatest season in the AHL last year. 36 points. I mean, that's not bad for a rookie season down there in the AHL, but he did get a lot of ice time. And compared to guys like Vasyunov especially, he's not our best winger prospect. So I think we could afford to give him up in this deal, especially if it means getting a player who is much closer to the NHL than Downey is. So the 23rd pick, the 53rd pick, and Downey for the 6th overall pick. Would that work? Yes, it will. Very nice. So now Nashville is on the clock. We can only assume that they are taking the medium franchise potential in Raimo Louis. And yes, they do. 84 overall is Raimo Louis. He looks fantastic already. My goodness, look at that shooting category. 93s across the board. So now Columbus's pick, you have Kunitz going to Columbus. The 81 overall center power forward. Looks like he'll be playing as well this year. The Rangers will take Typalis. So Typalis goes from, where is he ranked? At number 5, I believe, to 3. So that leaves Goddard, the defenseman. The defensive defenseman's still available. And actually, I'm going to back out of this just so we don't run out of time. I call a timeout there. There you go. Offer trade. So, as I was saying, I don't think we need a defensive defenseman because we already have guys like Dundas, Lambos, Anisimov. Well, Anisimov is an offensive defenseman. Then Lambos is a two-way defender. Now, what about Dundas? Is Dundas a two-way defender? Yeah, Dundas is a two-way defender. So actually, maybe picking up Stuart Goddard might not be a bad idea. You know what, though? If we take Goddard with this pick, then we miss out on Wright. And I don't want to miss out on Wright. He's a really good player. A for shooting, A+ for puck skills and senses, the A- for skating and offense or defense, and then an A for physicality. I don't know if I could pass that up. I mean, I I would love another defenseman, but Shane Wright's hard to ignore. And Matthew Savoie actually has A+ across the board for all of his offensive categories, and then a B for physicality, and C for defense. So he is much more offensively ready for the NHL than even Shane Wright. So maybe do I want to take 2 forwards here? Because if I take Goddard, then that would mean Shane Wright more than likely is not there at number 6. Savoie would likely be there at number 6. As a matter of fact, if we don't take Wright here, he will be taken with number 5, so that leaves us with Savoie and Goddard, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I do want Wright. So if we take Wright and Savoie, we are set at forward. If we take Savoie and that defenseman, who I already forgot the name of, then we will be set on defense as well, I believe. Obviously, Lambos and Anisimov are still a couple of years away, but this is a tough choice. This is a tough choice. I was expecting the defenseman to go before at number 3, but now that he's available, I don't know. Actually, one thing that might sway me away from Stuart Goddard here is that he's a lefty, and what we really need as far as defensemen goes are righties. Because all of our defensive prospects in Lambos, Dundas, and Anisimov, I believe, are all lefties. Yep, Dundas is a lefty, Lambos is a lefty, and yeah, Anisimov is a lefty as well. So, as a matter of fact, that may have just made up my mind for me. So, as a result, we will be taking Shane Wright with this pick. Welcome to Salt Lake City, Shane Wright. He is an 80 overall. He will be ready for this year. He's a depth forward. He had 31 goals and 67 assists last year in the OHL with Kingston, and he's already looking fantastic, especially with that puck skills category all the way up there. His shot power is in the high 80s already. Offensive awareness is at 83. His discipline's at 99, so he will not be taking any penalties whatsoever. But let's see who LA takes with this pick. They will be taking they took Savoie. That's interesting. I was not expecting that. I was certain that Savoie would drop to number 6. So that leaves us with Stuart Goddard, who was supposed to go number 3. So I guess I'm not complaining here. I mean, I thought for sure we would have to take Savoie if we were taking Wright with our 4th pick, which we did, but now we are we get both Wright and Goddard. So welcome to the team, Stuart Goddard. And he is a 78 overall defensive defenseman. So I don't know if he'll play this year, but definitely next year. So there you go. I mean, I was not expecting that, but I will definitely take it. So now simming up to our 2nd round pick, which is of course, the first pick of the 2nd round. There is Hewitt. There's Jose Hewitt, who is 5 years away from the NHL, and he's probably a medium elite. There's also Kimo Koko, who's a gem, and he's 18 years of age, 15 wins last year in Liga, 4 years away from the NHL, so maybe Koko might be the better pick than the other goaltender. Because Hewitt's actually supposed to go after Koko, so you know what? I'm thinking Kimo Koko would be the pick here. Obviously, we're picking 33rd, but I might just want to take Koko now. He is the gem out of Finland. We are going to see if that is the case. He is a medium elite, 58 overall. So at least we got a medium elite goaltender there, and he may take a few years to get to the NHL, but hopefully he is worth it once he does. So yeah, 3 medium elite players already within the first 3 picks. This has been a pretty nice draft already. So now we will simulate ahead to pick 79. That is, I believe, later in the mid-3rd round. Oh, remember the Langlaw brothers? Jacques Langlaw is on the board. Now, what about the other Langlaw? Was he already taken? Or is he still... Yeah, he was already taken. He was taken by Columbus. He is a medium top 6 defenseman. Now, I wonder about the other Langlaw. Because he's got that 2-bar low elite at 17 years of age. And I believe this is the generated Langlaw. So he might actually be a low elite. He appears to be an offensive defenseman, appears to be 4 years away from the NHL, so probably in his high 50s, maybe low 60s. This definitely is not a bad pick if we decide to take him. Are there any other good potential guys down here? Doesn't look like it. No, I don't see any. So, you know what? We will take Mr. Jacques Langlois. No, hold on. Just gotta make sure that the game's not glitching out on me here. I saw a different name for a second there. Jacques Langlois, welcome to Salt Lake City. What is he? He is a low top 4. Okay, so better potential than his supposed brother in Jeremy Langlois. And he is also a better overall. He's a 60 overall. So it could take him a few years to get to the NHL, but hopefully he's worth it because that's a pretty nice pick there. A low top 4 in the 3rd round in a draft where we already have 3 medium elite players. I'll definitely take it. And now pick 97 going into round number 4. I don't think there's too many good potentials left at this point. We may as well sort by potential. Yet no medium elites, no low elites. There's a low top 6 forward in Koivisto. There's a medium starter in Pajot. There's some low top 9s. Fringe starters. Yeah, looks like the best potential here is Koivisto, so I think we'll just take him at this point. Welcome to Salt Lake City, Kai Koivisto. He is a 49 overall and a low top 6. And with our 5th rounder, we may as well take the guy who we interviewed in Mikhail Prokhorov. He is unfortunately, a medium bottom 6, so there's our first potential of the draft. But really, I can't complain about this draft. We got 3 medium elites. We got a low top 4 defenseman, a low top 6 forward. And as we finish this draft off, we have our 6th round pick, and we may as well take another one of the guys who we interviewed during the draft interviews. That would be Tomas Bergfors. Welcome to Salt Lake City. And he is also a medium bottom 6. That's unfortunate. And we will sim ahead to our last pick in round number 7. And we may as well take someone with the best name. So you got Lies here, Justin Lies. There's this guy, Nicholas Corey, who's a 2-bar low elite. So he may be a low top 6 if it's anything based off what we saw with Langlois. I like his personality as well. He's 4 years away from the NHL. I like his size. Yeah, you know what? We'll take Nicholas Corey. And, of course, he is a low bottom 6. So we struck out with those last 3 picks. But the first 5 picks before that, not too bad. So that will be it for the year 3 draft. And welcome to Salt Lake City. Wright, Goddard, Coco, Langlois, Koivisto, Prokhorov, Bergfors, and Corey. So UFA goaltenders, we have Ricci, Bednar, Saros, and Korpisalo. So we will release Ricci. We don't need him. We will sign Bednar, and we will release Saros and Korpisalo for right now, as neither of them were any good last year. And RFA goaltenders, we have none. UFA defensemen, we have Braun and Engelland. Braun does not want to re-sign. Engelland does. If Engelland wants to sign a real cheap contract, I'll give it to him. He wants $1 million for 2 years. I'll give him $1 million for 1 year, just as a veteran presence on the blue line. I mean, it's not like we're going to be any cap crunching issues this year, so we'll give him this. And RFAs, you have Mason. I think we'll give him a contract as well. And UFA 4s, you have Auberg, Lucic, Lawton, Zajac, Simmons, and Burakovsky. So we're going to release Zajac since he does not want to re-sign. We will also, what are we going to do with Auberg? He's a 58 overall, 19 years of age at the low top 6. We may as well see what he can do in the AHL. You know what? Lucic may not be bad for helping develop our guys in the AHL. So we may as well sign him to a 1-year deal at $750K. Now, Burakovsky is actually up to an 84. He had a really good year last year. He was on the 4th line for a lot of the year as well. So, I mean, forget the minus 43. We're obviously a very bad team, all in all. But Burakovsky looks like he deserves the extension. So we'll give him one. We'll give him a 3-year deal at, 4.6, I guess works for him. Simmons, he'd be a good role player for the 3rd or 4th line. We will give him 1 year at 2.4. Lawton, if you want to re-sign for cheap, I'll give you a contract. I'll give you a 1 year for 1.2 million. And RFAs, you have Lazat, Amadio, and Forsbacka Carlson. I will re-sign these 2. And Forsbacka Carlson, I think we'll re-sign. He did have a bit of a down year last year compared to our year number 1, year number 2, I should say. He had 25 goals in year number 2 and only 15 this past year. So I think he can surpass 15 again. I think he could honestly surpass 25. So we will give him 1 year at 1.7. And other than our elite prospects like Goddard, Wright, and Dundas, that is about it. We will sign Dundas right here, so we will give him a contract right now, as well as Shane Wright. I think I'm going to leave Goddard unsigned for right now. I want to see what we're looking like going into the regular season, because if he doesn't play on our NHL roster, then he goes to juniors. So I think we'll leave him unsigned for right now. As for guys like Waugh, Gunther, and Lambos, I think we'll leave them unsigned as well. I want to see their growth in the offseason. And Luch rejects, Burakovsky rejects, Medio signs, Lizotte signs, Simmons signs, Lawton signs, Engeland rejects, Mason signs, Dundas signs, Wright signs, and Forsback Carlson signs as well. Bednar, Auberg. So it looks like all of the veterans are the ones who declined, including Burakovsky. So we'll just release Lucic, and we'll release Engeland. It's not worth negotiating with them, but I will negotiate with Burakovsky. So we'll give Burakovsky 3 years at 4.9 we'll try for. And I believe everyone else is already signed, so it's really just Burakovsky that we are worried about here. So we'll simulate ahead of day. And Burakovsky, do you sign with us? You'll not have a scout, I believe, and yes, he does. So one thing I think we need heading into this offseason is a new head coach, because you got Pete Reed here, I believe his name is. He's really not that good, and he's got a terrible record. I mean, obviously, he's coaching a rebuilder, but he's not really doing much to help out the development of our young players, especially with only a B for teaching and a B for influence and a poor grades everywhere else. So we'll just fire Pete Reed right now, and we will get one of the better coaches on the market currently in Dredger. He is asking for $4.2 million, but I believe he will be worth it, as he has A's across the board here, A+ for teaching, so that is the most important part right now for this team, is growing all of our young players, and this guy is certain to do that, as he is a generalist, so he'll help everybody grow, and he has A's across the board, so that can only help in this situation. We'll give him a lot more money than what he wants. Now, obviously, as a rebuilder, we're not the most attractive destination for a coach like Dreger. However, if we're overpaying him by that much, you'd have to think he'll at least consider. So 5 years as our head coach for $4.75 million per year. Offer that contract to him. And we also need a goalie coach, so we will get Mark Colbert here for, I'd say, $700,000 just to make sure we get him on board for 3 years. And he's got the B for teaching as a goalie specialist, so I'm hoping he'll help grow our younger goaltenders. Well, obviously, we don't have any younger goaltenders in our NHL team right now. Hopefully, this will help out whatever goaltenders we happen to get out of free agency or out of a trade or whatever. So now, looking at the roster here, obviously our biggest need is goaltending. But another big need of ours is a right-handed defenseman to play with Peyton Dundas, as Dundas is a lefty, and I don't know if we're going to be playing Manson with him, because I think Manson would be best with Fleury, and I'm not sure if I want Benning with Dundas. I think I want someone with a little bit more offensive ability with Dundas, so as to help him succeed offensively. So those should be our main targets going into free agency, and we obviously have a lot of money to spend. So if anybody here catches my eye, we will probably be going after them. So Shesterkin is actually on the free agent market. He's 26 years of age. What's his history looking like? 902, 900, 908. Well, that was in the AHL. So really, his NHL stats so far are nothing impressive. Comrie's back on the market. And he did better with Boston this year than he did last year, but not phenomenal like he was with us for those 16 games. Obviously, that was just a hot streak. Wouldn't be a bad gamble to try to go after Shesterkin, because every other goaltender here is either old or just not good at all. But Shesterkin hasn't even played a full NHL season yet, so it might be worth the gamble to see what he can do, especially on a rebuilding team like ourselves. So we'll give him 2 years at, let's say, 5.5. Minnesota's interested in him, but you know what? We have a need at goal, and he hasn't really proved himself in the NHL yet. He's asking for a big contract, but we're willing to give him the opportunity to be our starter. So Shesterkin, I hope you accept. So I think the perfect partner here for Peyton Dundas, at least for his first couple of seasons here, would be Brandon Montour. He had 30 points last year in 20 minutes of ice time, so it looks like he got top 4 ice time with Buffalo. He's physical, His turnover ratio isn't that bad. And once again, he provides offense, and he's consistent about it as well. Roughly 25 to 30 point man every year. So I really have no objections there. I was considering Severson, but he only had 10 points this past season. I was looking for someone, again, who can not only help out defensively with Dundas and make up for his rookie mistakes, but provide some offense as well for him. And obviously, you got Dumba, you got Riley. But again, we're not really in this state of being able to go after those guys right now. Both of those guys are defensemen that only really contenders should be going after. We're not anywhere near being a contender right now. We're just looking to improve our young guys and possibly get into the playoffs. I'm not saying we will, given that obviously the past 3 years have been pretty rough, but it's a possibility with how many young players we have and who are hopefully going to grow. So Montour wants 6 years and $4.75 million. I'll give him... What length is Manson on? I think I'll take him to whatever length Josh Manson is on. Either that or I'll put him on Fleury's length. Well, they're both on the same length. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 3 years. Okay, so I would definitely do that for Montour. It's just a matter of, does he want to do that? Because he obviously wants something that's more long-term. So if we take him down to 3 years, he wants not much more money. He's only asking for 4.8 in that instance. So we'll take him up to, I would say, 5.2 for 3 years. And you know what? Before we do any other signings, I'm going to wait for our head coach to sign, because then we will have an idea of players who fit into his system. So we will simulate ahead 1 week, and we'll see who we get. And there he is. Donovan Dredger has joined your Salt Lake City Lakers. He looks forward to making an impact. And Mark Colbert, our goaltender coach, has also signed. And there's Brandon Montour, and there's Igor Shesterkin. So we got both of them. And now, let's take a look at our updated situation. But we're making some progress here. We got all of our young players coming up in Shane Wright, Byfield, Dundas. Now you got a goaltender in there, Shesterkin. See what he can do over the course of the next couple of years. Our defensive core is filled out. You got Fleury, Manson, Montour, Mata, Benning, Dundas, and Mason as your number 7. And then at forward, you have Kapanen, Burakovsky, Hedl, Faxa, Kasha, Palat, Simmons, Bennett, Wright, Byfield, fourth back of Carlson, and Lawton. So I was looking at forwards on the free agent market, and Brock Besser is actually available as an RFA. However, the only issue with that is he wants 9.5, so it's going to cost at least a first, a second, and a third, I would guess, to get him. And not only that, but when we take a look at Vancouver's cap situation, it's pretty clear that they're going to be able to outbid us. They have roughly 18 million cap space. We're not going to get that. Unless we severely overpay, which I'm not willing to do. I'm not willing to give up like 4 first-round picks for Brock Besser. That is in no planet happening. So other than Besser, there's no one who I'm really interested in this free agent class, because they're all just either 30 or over, or they would be too expensive to offer an RFA deal to. So what we'll do with all this extra cap space, I think we'll just take a look around the league for some bad contracts and see if we are able to get some extra draft picks on board, because that's really the best thing we can do with this cap at this point. So maybe Alec Martinez from Arizona. He is the 78 overall and making almost $5 million for the next 2 years. That might be something we could do. I mean, I don't foresee any cap issues with this team over the next couple of years, so that shouldn't be a problem. So if we could snag Arizona's first for, let's say, Lennox and Suhonen. I just want to see if this works. Probably not, but you never know given Martinez's contract. Proposed trade rejected, quite close to fair value. Okay, so we're basically there. We just need to add a little bit more. How about this guy, Matanen? So Lennox, Suhonen, and Matanen for Martinez and a first. Ooh, okay. It worked. There you go. Putting that cap space to good use are your Salt Lake City Lakers. So Pittsburgh has Brandon Tanev signed to 2 more years at $3.5 million as a 78 overall. That is something we could take advantage of. So we will get him on the trade there, and we will try to include a first-round pick, which they do want to give up. So this trade should actually be pretty easy. I'll give him Lindback and I'll give him Rybinski. I wouldn't be opposed to giving up Eresberg since we now have not only Bednar, but Koko and Bowman, and as well as Shesterkin, so I don't think Eresberg really fits in here at this point. So Lindback, Rybinski, and Eresberg for Tanev and Verse. This should work. Proposed trade? A bit off with the values, so we're close. I'll take Rybinski off, and I will instead include Backman, who is a medium top 6 defenseman who is unsigned. So Lindback, Backman, and Eresberg for Tanev and a first. Trade accepted. There we go. So that'd be it for that. We're starting to run out of trade pieces or at least trade pieces that I'd be willing to trade away for this purpose. So with the rest of our cap, we may as well offer Derek Engelland a $10 million contract, basically just to fill out the rest of the cap, so that we are right in that sweet spot around 10 to 11 mil. We're right in between the cap ceiling and the cap floor. So we have room in both directions to make moves if we need to during the regular season. So we will just simply offer Engelland a $10 million contract. And there's Engelland. So there you go. That is the end of the year 3 offseason. Let's jump right ahead to the start of year number 4. Okay, so now we will take a look at the growth. We have the start of year number 4, and Shesterkin is an 85 overall. Not bad, but we'll see how he plays. Montembeault is a 79. On defense, you have Fleury, who stayed at 85. Manson at 84. Montour, 82. Dundas is an 82 to start out. So he and Manson, or Montour, will both be on the second pair. Unfortunately, Dundas doesn't look like he fits into our second pair that much, but he does fit in on the first line. So maybe that's something to consider when slotting him into the lineup. Maybe we put him with Montour on the first pair instead. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. You also got Mata, Benning, Mason, and Martinez. We will send down Martinez. We do not need him. He is just for cap reasons. And at forward, you have Kapanen, who is an 85, Faxa, and Hedl, and Burakovsky, all 84. So it looks like Hedl is starting to cap out at an 84, but that is fine. But you know what? He's been a pretty solid player for us, and hopefully he will continue to be that. Kasha is an 83, Simmons and Palat 81, Bennett and Wright 80. Byfield, unfortunately, didn't grow all that much. He's still a 79, so we'll see what he can do this upcoming year. If we don't see too much progression from him, though, especially going into next offseason, then we may have to at least consider trading him, because that's a little concerning. That is a little concerning to see that Byfield did not go up in overall really at all. And Forsback Carlson is a 79, Tanev is a 78. And let's see in the system, obviously Goddard didn't grow any. We just drafted him. That's kind of how that works. But he will nonetheless be staying in the OHL this year with the battalion. Carson Lambos is a 73, so I believe he went from a 71 to a 73, seeing some slow growth out of him, but nonetheless growth. Anisimov is a 69 now. I believe he was a 67 at the end of last season. So once again, slowly but surely. Sundstrom is a 66. Wah is a 75. So Wah is almost there. I'd say another year and he'll be ready for the NHL. Maybe 2. Gunther's a 73. Gunler's a 73. Vasyunov is a 70. Did he grow at all? I don't think he did. And that's odd given that he actually had a pretty good season in the AHL last year. 26 goals and 22 assists. That's unfortunate. And Nicholas is a 73. I believe he was a 69, so seeing some good growth out of Nicholas. And in goal, Bowman is a 63, Bednar is a 69, Gregoire 64, Koko 60. All right, so didn't see as much growth as I hoped, but nonetheless, we still have a bright future. And especially with Dundas and Wright and Byfield now all in there. Hopefully Byfield stays this year, because if he doesn't, that would be a bit concerning, especially after 2 years of development in the juniors. And the lines to start out year number 4, Kasha, Faxa, and Palat on the first line, Simmons, Hedl, and Kapanen on the second line, Burakovsky, Byfield, and Wright on the third line. I wanted the 2 rookies to get with Burakovsky, who seemingly is able to produce no matter what line he is on. So we'll see how they do to start out the season. I think I want Byfield to stay here the entire year, just because I don't know if sending him back to the AHL would be any good for him at this point. And the fourth line is Tanev, Bennett, and Forsback Carlson. On defense, you have Fleury and Manson, Dundas and Montour, and Mata and Benning. And the power play, you have Kapanen, Hedel, and Burakovsky with Palat and Fleury, and then Kasha, Faksa, Simmons, Dundas, and Montour. Now, the penalty kill, you have Hedel, Tanev, Fleury, and Montour, and then Faksa, Kapanen, Mata, and Manson. None of our defensemen fit on the penalty kill, unfortunately, so hopefully everything works out. And the 4-on-4, you have Hedel and Kapanen with Fleury and Manson, Faksa and Burakovsky with Dundas and Montour, and then Byfield and Wright with Mata and Benning. 3-on-3, you have Hedel, Kapanen, and Fleury, Faksa, Burakovsky, and Manson, and then Byfield, Wright, and Dundas. So the 3 rookies all on the line. I wonder if that will be any good for us. Hopefully it is. Extra attackers are Faksa and Hedel, and the shootout, Faksa, Burakovsky, Kasha, Kapanen, and Palat. And in goal, you have Shesterkin and Montembeault. Scratched is Mason currently. So that'll be about it for this one, and in the next one, we will start year number 4 and hopefully make some progress towards making the playoffs. See you guys then.